morning, children. So today we are going to start Unit 1, Class 12, Electrostatics. Now the word statics means at rest. So what we are going to do in this chapter is, we are going to study charges at rest and the effects and the phenomena produced when the charges are at rest. That is, it is the study of electrostatic force or electric force, electric field, and electric potential. So these are the three topics which we'll be covering in chapter number 1 of NCERT book. So first, again we'll go to the charges. The very first thing is, what is a charge? Now charge is a basic property of a material because of which it exerts a force on things around it. Like if any other charge is kept, it will feel a force. Now how is charge defined and what is the unit of charge and how the charges are being produced? So first we'll talk about how the charges are being produced. Now it was an observation done that when, say, a glass rod is rubbed with silk, it acquires a property of attracting small bits of paper, feather, etc. You also might have done in your lower classes when you have been small, that you rub the comb in your head, in your dry hair, and after that you bring small bits of paper near it. The small bits of paper will be attracted by the comb, and after some time the bits of paper will be separated out from the comb. Now what is that process? Now in the process of rubbing these two things, frictional electricity is produced, or it is known as frictional electricity, or static electricity. These are the, and now since it is produced by friction, therefore the name frictional electricity. Now what happens when friction is there? Because of friction, heat is produced. And what this will do? You know that all atoms are made up of electrons, protons and neutrons. See, nucleus does not take part in these type of processes. It is the electrons which are in the outermost orbit which are taking part in these phenomena. What actually happens when heat is being produced, and if heat is quite enough to eject out the electron from the outermost orbit, then that electron takes the energy and comes out and is being transferred to the other object which is in its contact. Now the atom from which electrons will leave will get positively charged, and from the atom where electrons will be accepted will get negatively charged. And in this way, charges are being transferred from one object to another, and atoms will get charged. In conductors, it is the electrons which move, whereas in ions, whereas in electrolytes or liquids with some salts, it is the ions which will move. This was a question appeared in last year board examination, that name the particles which are associated with movement of current or the flow of current in metals and liquids, in solid materials and in liquid materials. So the answer was, in conductors it is the electrons and in electrolytes it is the ions. So this was about the production of charges. What is the unit of charge and how it is defined? Actually, the unit of charge is defined on the basis of ampere. Ampere, which is unit of current. This you have done in class 10th. And what was the formula, if you remember? I is equals to Q upon T, where Q is charge, T is time for which the charge will flow, and I is the current. And the unit of I is ampere. Now Q here will be equal to I into T, that means ampere into second. This ampere into second is coulomb, which is the unit of charge, and it is denoted by capital C. So from the formula, how will you define? If current of 1 ampere flows through a conductor for 1 second, the charge flowing through the conductor will be 1 coulomb. A smaller unit of coulomb or charge is also being used, that is micro coulomb. Most of the time when you will get the value of charge, it will be in most of the time will be micro coulomb, which is equal to 10 to the power minus 6 coulomb. Alright. Now you know that there are two types of charges, positive and negative. There are definite properties associated with these charges. Like number 1, quantization. Now what does this word quantization means? See, quantum word means a bundle, together. So what is in this property of quantization is explained is that charges can be transferred from one object to another in multiples of the smallest charge. That is, we cannot transfer half charge or a fraction of a charge. So the smallest charge is charge on an electron. And how much is that charge? You all know it is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. That means either I can transfer 1 electron or 2 electrons or 3 electrons from one object to another. That is, if charge on 1 electron is say E and the number of transferred electrons are N, then the charge acquired by the object will be plus minus Ne, where N is a number of electrons which is being transferred. Whosoever is losing the electrons will get positive charge of this much amount, and the one which is gaining the electron will be transferred, will be acquiring a negative charge of this much amount. And this will also tell you about the conservation of charge. So the second property is conservation of charge. Conservation properties or conservation of mass we have already studied. And what does it state? The charges can neither be created nor be destroyed, can only be transferred from one place to another. So whatever charge will be transferred from one object certainly will appear on some or the other object in the same amount. This can also be explained on these nuclear equations. Like for example, an element say X with atomic number Z and mass number A breaks into say two parts, say Y and W. If the mass number of Y is say 4 and say atomic number is 2, then according to conservation of charge, atomic number of this will be Z minus 2 and mass number A minus 4. Now you can see on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side, the mass numbers and atomic numbers are same. And you know that atomic and mass numbers tell us about the elementary particles, that is number of electrons, protons and neutrons. And since they are same on both the sides, that means charges are being conserved. One more example I'll give you for conservation of charge. See, a gamma ray is being produced during nuclear reactions, which does not have any charge, does not have any mass, it carries only energy and momentum. It is a combination of an electron and a positron. Positron we'll be talking about in the later chapters, where we'll be talking about nuclear radiation and radioactivity. Now you can see that mass numbers conserved, atomic numbers conserved, and therefore these combination of these two creates a gamma radiation which does not have any mass, which does not have any number. This is known as pair production. And reverse of this equation also exists, which is electron plus positron gives rise to a gamma ray. This is known as pair annihilation and this is known as pair production. In detail, these type of equations we'll be doing in later unit. The third property. The third property is additivity. Now, what does this property state? See, additive means addition. The charges are simply algebraically added if they are given on an object in different times. Suppose a given object is say given a charge of say 5 microcoulomb and then of say minus 3 microcoulomb. So the total charge on the object will be 5 microcoulomb plus minus 3 microcoulomb, that will give rise to 2 microcoulomb. So the net charge will be 2 microcoulomb. So charges will be simple algebraically added. We will consider the sign while adding the charges, whether it is a negative charge or is a positive charge. There are two methods to charge an object. One is charging by conduction and another is charging by induction. Charging by conduction and number 2. So, and charging by induction. Charging by induction. See, when we say conduction, that means it is produced by touch. The two objects when touched, then the charge will be transferred and the object will get charged. Whereas in induction, charge will be produced without touching. Without touch. Now during touch, one of the method which we have already done is by friction. This is a part of charging by conduction itself. Okay, we'll rub two things and then because of touching, the charge is being transferred from one to another. That is one part of it. The second part is, suppose I want to charge a given object with a positive or a negative charge. So if I want to get it positively charged, I can bring an already positively charged rod or an object near it and touch it. Touch has to be there. And when you touch this object, already charged one, with an uncharged one, what will happen is charge will start getting transferred to this object till the charge on both the objects becomes same. Like if it has got 5 microcoulomb of charge, then after being touched, both of them will be left with 2.5 microcoulomb charge on each of them. This is charging by conduction. When we'll talk about charging by induction, then what I am going to do is, now will not touch the object. We'll bring now a charged rod or an object near the uncharged object. Now what will happen? The electrons here in the atom of this object will get attracted towards this side and positive charges will be repelled towards this side. Because, alright, now the method is somehow these are to be eliminated from this portion. So this portion, keeping the rod here itself, we can earth it or we can also touch it with the finger, because these are very small charges, so we can do it with the finger also. We can touch it with finger. Now what will happen if we touch it with finger? These charges will be grounded, will move towards the earth. After they'll move to the earth, now bring it back from here. Now these negative charges will redistribute all over the object and the rod will get negatively charged. You have to keep in mind that before earthing, this rod shall not be moved away, because in that case, if we have not earthed it and the rod is moved away, then again these positive and negative charges will neutralize each other. This is charging by induction. Now what you will do today is, you will read this portion from your NCERT book. You will also go through, those who have not done so far, the resolution and addition of vectors. And tomorrow we'll talk about Coulomb's law, which will tell us about the electrostatic force, and Coulomb's law in vector form and position vector form. So these are the topics which we'll cover tomorrow. So today you will revise this and we'll do resolution and addition of vectors. Thank you and have a good day.